salamat, Rene. Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Maayong hapon, karang Nilingganay, hindi nilingganay, kung hindi mo bautino. Nawit-nilawit, kung hindi mo kanta. Kasing-kasing, iutang na para sa inyong lupan, sa lumilang ng pag-ibig, kung hindi mo pinatag sa lahat. Ano mga kawalan, eh? Distinguished delegates, friends, ladies and gentlemen. My first words will be to thank and commend our dear friend, Dr. Franciso, for organizing this Congress and for proposing the focus of our deliberations. And thank you all for coming to this forum. Surrender is not an option. So, surrender is not an option, compromise is not the way solution. That is our theme for this conference. It is the only correct position to take. That is to say, if we truly believe the sanctity of human life, marriage, and the family is worth fighting for even dying for. Last October 23, according to the UN population count, the 7 billionth human being was born. But even the present state of the art, no one can really vouch to the accuracy of our data gathering. We may have long passed the 7 billion mark, or we may not get to that. Nobody really knows. But even bureaucrats have decided that the 7 billion baby would arrive at Halloween. And so it was. We could both remember the dead and celebrate the living. So when baby Junica arrived on October 31, she became our own symbolic baby 7 billion. Almost every other country had their own. So there you are, you see Russia had baby p-noy. The USA had baby Sin, and London and baby Peter, and of course that's baby Jennifer. Now, several days before the event, some population analysts from Moscow, Washington, D.C., and London went live by Skylink to examine what having 7 billion human beings meant or could mean for our planet. They started by saying that we could not have gotten there if the world did not have so much more food, better health, better housing, better education, greater capacity to cope with emergencies, conflicts, calamities, and disasters. All of those help people to live better and longer. Fewer people died prematurely too. So the population rose, even though fewer and fewer couples still reproduce at or above replacement level. Now, Stephen Mosher, one of the world's most trusted demographers, is known to most, if not all of you here, tells it in a nutshell. In 1800, when the population stood at 1 billion, the worldwide per capita income was $100. Today, with 7 billion, it's $9,000. As late as the 19th century, 4 out of every 10 children died before reaching age 5. The average lifespan was under 30 years. Today, the under 5 mortality is under 6% and falling, and the average lifespan is 69 years. So, why are 1 billion people supposedly starving? They are supposed to have nothing to eat. As the population finally outstripped food supply, as Thomas Malthus famously predicted in 1798. Now, that is not be naive. There's enough food for everyone. Enough food to provide 3,500 calories a day for everyone. But ethnic wars, border wars, internal conflicts, economic sanctions and embargoes, natural calamities, man-made disasters, and the lack of processing, storage, and transport facilities prevent some people from getting their 3,500 calories every day. And there is so much inequality that in America, for instance, the richest 400 Americans own more than 1/2 of what all the other Americans own. And this is what you hear on YouTube when you look at the Occupy Wall Street protests, where you hear the complaint, we are the 99% and you are the 1%. Now, hasn't the planet grown too small? Aren't we running out of space? This is the media hype. But the most responsible demographers insist, we have heard this first in the 1960s, that all of humanity will be made to fit inside Texas, this was from Colin Clark, or Arizona, or Australia, with lots of room left to spare. The Colin Clark was saying we could all fit inside Texas, and it's Igor Beloborodov, the director of the Demographic Institute of Moscow, was saying that all of humanity could fit inside either Arizona or Australia, depending on your preference, if you like to speak American or Australian. True, the population still grows and has grown. But the growth rate has slowed down from 2.1% in 1960 to 1.2% this year. At that rate of growth and falling, world population is likely to shrink back to 6 billion by the end of the century, with another billion falling off every 20 years thereafter into the 22nd century. As Stephen Mosher puts it, just hold your breath for a while, and by the end of the century, the earth would have less than 7 billion people all over again. So do not be alarmed. Now, depopulation. depopulation is the real specter. It's the real specter haunting mankind. It's the next great crisis staring mankind in space. Africa's 1 billion would treble by 2100. But the demographic winter in Russia, Japan, and Europe would spread quickly everywhere. For even now, at least 80 countries, representing over half of the world's population, has a fertility rate of below 2.1 children per woman of reproductive age. Meaning to say, it's well below replacement level. It could fall further still. Parents are no longer being replaced. Not enough young people are entering the workforce nearly everywhere in the world. There will be no one to support the retired 65-year-olds and above, who will be he will be twice as many as the 15-year-olds and younger in the next 40 years. Japan, for instance, you don't have young people there, you have always met people and robots. The robots will be working, but they will be lying to do. For this reason, some 400 experts from 65 countries gathered at the Moscow Demographic Summit on June 29 to 30 this year to examine the problem or problems. I had the privilege of addressing the summit. At the end of the meeting, we issued the Moscow Declaration of the Family and Future of Mankind. I now place this declaration in the hands of these Congress. The declaration calls on the governments of all nations and international institutions to develop and forge a pro-family demographic policy, to adopt a special international pro-family strategy and action plan, and to end the state's interference in the private life of the family under the pretext of family planning, protection of the rights of children, and gender equality. But many refuse to see the errors that are plain for us to see. They prefer to add to these errors instead. Look at your UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon for one. He situates the arrival of 87 billion against the background of the Wall Street protests that are shaping the foundations of corporate America. For him, it is a great contradiction that disturbs one's simplistic view of history. And listen to Barton Osot Timehan, Executive Director of the UN Fund for Population Activities, the UN's principal agency for population control. The event calls for reflection rather than celebration, he says. And you have this organization in the US, Center for Biological Diversity. It recycles the old thesis that overpopulation and consumption are the root causes of environmental destruction. They're driving the species, destroying wildlife habitat, and undermining the basic needs of all life at an unprecedented rate. It has to stop. This was not much different From what we heard and saw when Baby said that 6 billion arrived 12 years ago. On the day and hour that Adnan Levik, the UN symbolic 6 billion baby, arrived to a refugee couple in Bosnia, I was speaking at the 102nd Conference of the Inter-Parliamentary Union Interleague, Federal Republic of Germany. In a statement to the world parliamentarians, I wondered why the event seemed to fill the richest countries with such gloom, alarm, and panic when they should be celebrating it with champagne and fireworks like the Fête de Genève. You know, many delegates from the developing countries lined up to congratulate me after my speech, but some from the developed world showed visible unrest. Nothing has changed since. From Thomas Malthus to the present icons and celebrities of population control, we have heard the same message in the past 200 years. In 1968, the same year that Pope Paul VI denounced contraception as an intrinsic evil in his prophetic encyclical Humani Vitae, Paul Ehrlich predicted in his book Population Bomb that millions would die from famine because of uncontrolled population growth. In 1969, Ehrlich advocated massive sterilization of the population by adding sterilants to the food and water supply. In 1977, Ehrlich reiterated the proposal in Eco-Science, a book he co-authored with his wife Anne Ehrlich and John Polbrecht. In that book, the authors thought of a planetary regime that would use an armed international police force to force women to abort their pregnancies and to dictate the most intimate details of family life of Americans. We have not heard anything about the early couple lately, but John Polbrecht, that name may not be too familiar to you, but remember that name. John Polbrecht has become a very important man in the Obama administration. He's the current director of White House Office of Science and Technology Policy, assistant to the President for Science and Technology, and co-chair of the President's Council of Advisors on Science and Technology. In one word, he is the science czar of the United States of America. You cannot help but ask the question, what possible influence did Polbrecht exert on President Obama, which led him to announce one day after he assumed office as America's first black president that he would use American funds to support abortion activities everywhere in the world? That is subject to great speculation. But was Obama simply reacting to a unique virus inflicted upon Western society by a racist and eugenicist elite? This does not seem far-fetched. Listen to some members of these elites. In 1972, the former UN functionary World Bank advisor Maurice Strong proposed government licensing for women to be allowed to bear children. In 1988, Prince Philip, United Kingdom, very glamorous guy, said that in the event he was reborn, he would like to return as a deadly virus in order to contribute something to solve overpopulation. No wonder some conspiracy theorists like to speculate that HIV, AIDS, SARS, and other pandemics were precisely invented by evil Western governments to decimate the prolific and fertile African natives. In the 1990s, CNN's founder, Ted Turner, said a total world population of 250 to 300 billion people, or a 95% decline from present levels, would be quite a deal. At the time, we were past 5 billion. He completed the outrage a few years later when he proposed that thou shalt not commit adultery be deleted from the 10 Commandments. Now, in his last interview with the French newspaper Le Monde, two months before his death in 2004, the French philosopher Jacques Derrida is the man who founded or developed the theory of deconstruction, proposed that marriage be abolished as a legal institution and replaced by a purely civil union with no limitation as to the number or sex of the partners involved, and with no procreated intent, no intention of having children, unlimited partners regardless of sex. Now, outside of this Congress, another such friend places, the worldwide attack on human life, on marriage, and on the family goes on unabated. It pours in from the United Nations, from the multilateral financial institutions, IMF, World Bank, ADB, and all this, from foreign governments, you know that, from large ideological NGOs, you have an army of them in every hearing in both houses of Congress. From the global media, both traditional, institutional, and online. Through their local proxies, they are trying to create a false facade of public support for the population control measure, which is deceptively marketed as a reproductive health bill. The administration has prioritized this measure as though it were the solution to all our problems. Its immediate effect has been to divide the nation and to sow the seeds of religious and socio-political turmoil. Congress massively suspended the floor debates as it went on recess before Halloween, but until the President revokes his standing instruction to his Congress allies to fast-track the measure, the nation remains in extreme danger. The latest reports from the United Nations provoke really serious concern. There are two reports. The first one is called the Report of the Special Rapporteur on the right of everyone to the enjoyment of the highest attainable standard of physical and mental health. It seeks to mix the sovereign right of member states to prevent the legalization of abortion and the fundamental right of individuals to freedom of thought, religion, and conscience. The report seeks to endow the UN with a power it does not have, namely to determine whether or not and to what extent abortion is to be legalized by member states without regard to their sovereign will. The report misinterprets accepted international documents on reproductive health, ignores their avowed desire to reduce the number of abortions worldwide, and stresses instead the need for member states to legalize abortion. The report tries to create new rights in reproductive health by restating the provisions of some international documents like the 1995 Beijing Platform of Action to support new rights that it wants to create. The report also seeks the repeal of parental notification laws with respect to contraception and sex education for young girls, in violation of the primary right and duty of parents to raise and educate their children. Very much like what we read in the RH bill. The second report of the Special Rapporteur on the situation of human rights defenders seeks to expand women's rights far beyond those agreed upon in consensus international documents. Now, these are just two reports. But unless these reports are rejected, they are bound to add to the pressure upon our Congress to run through the RH bill. The UN today has become a dangerous place. Dangerous for human life, for marriage, for the family, and for the national sovereignty of its member states. Now, I have tried to sketch out here a good part of the lay of the land where the battle against the RH bill must be fought and won. It is necessary to have a complete and accurate appreciation of the terrain and the various forces at play in order to know how and where we stand and what we need to do in order to prevail. I shall now talk about the various steps we need to turn. We need to turn back the pro-RH offensive, if we still can. The very first thing we need to do, in my view, is to have a clear understanding of what we are fighting for, and what we are fighting against. With such understanding, we shall stop the enemy at the gates. Without it, the enemy will pass. Total understanding of what we are, what we are fighting for, and what we are fighting against, therefore, is the first imperative. Now, until now, we have allowed the RH advocates to frame the debate. And the debate has been wrongly framed. They have done so to their advantage. With all due respect, we have allowed ourselves to be drawn to the peripheral issues away from the central issue of the conflict. We must now reframe the debate and deprive the other side and their vast army of propagandists of the opportunity to continue manipulating the delegates. The right and duty to procreate is not conferred by law or by local ordinance upon the citizens of a town, a city, or a state. It belongs to our nature, which is bestowed upon us by God. It belongs to every man as man before he becomes a citizen, or even if he does not get to become a citizen at all. Malinaw po tayo. Now, it precedes the existence of the state, and therefore it is not subject to the approval or disapproval of the local sanggunian, the Congress, or the President. It is not and cannot be made the subject of any statute passed by even all the members of Congress. This is the most important point that should be very clear to us, so that we can communicate this very clearly to the other side. At wala tayong dapat pinag-usapan. Dapat wala kayong pakialam. You shall not pass, you shall not trespass, you shall not enter the bedroom, because that is a sacred place. The state has no place. Now all our friends in Congress must know this. If they don't, then we have an urgent and serious duty to make them understand. We have to tell them there are certain areas of human activity in which the state may not intrude. The intimate union of man and woman is one such activity, and everything else that naturally flows from it. This is so clear to anyone. It should be so clear to anyone who knows the distinction between man and God, between the creature and his creator, that no responsible government has found it necessary to put this down in any legal or constitutional document. It is a meta-legal right. It's about the legal. Something written in our very nature as men and women. So you don't have to put it down on paper. As fundamental and inviolable as our right and freedom to breathe. Any legislator who tries to reach out beyond that goes out of his jurisdiction, beyond the rightful parameters of his personhood. He loses not only his place, but himself. It is the hardest thing for me to say this, even in this forum, which is just a family. And I wish I did not have to say this, because I was once in the legislature. But it cannot be left unsaid. The RS bill has simply no place in a constitutional democratic Congress. The RS proponents have tried to make the world believe that their bill simply wants to give women and men the right to practice contraception and sterilization as a method of family planning. Isn't so? Hindi ba ganun ang propaganda? And they have bombarded us with all arguments why they should have such a right. They say it will end mass poverty, maternal mortality, environmental degradation, the impacts of climate change, and even bad governance. Now, one part, we're trying to show them that all their arguments are specious and false. That contraception and sterilization have not solved and will never solve poverty, maternal death, environmental degradation, climate change, or official corruption anywhere in the world. So what has happened? It's become like ping pong. We reject what they say, they reject what we say, and the Franken media and the Franken pollsters try to resolve this stalemate by censoring our truth and insulting their falsehood through their own power games and their games of numbers. By clever manipulation, the public debate has never managed to address the core issue. It has stayed in the fringes. We must now move away from that. We must now make it more than abundantly clear, first to ourselves, and then to our friends on the other side, that the right to practice right in quotes, to practice contraception and sterilization is not the issue in this bill. That right, if you can call it that, has never been curtailed. There is no law prohibiting it in the Philippines. Anyone so minded can practice it, and doing so mindlessly with the active encouragement and support of the Department of Health, the Population Commission, and the various foreign agencies and institutions that have decided to inflict their own RH programs on our people through some local governments. This is not an opinion, but a fact. The national funding for contraception and sterilization has been in the General Appropriations Act since the 1970s, when the 1973 Constitution said nothing about the sanctity of human life, the family, and marriage. So there was no obvious constitutional obstacle to that in the 70s. Now it has remained there to this day, long after the Aquino-inspired Constitution came into effect. Because the Aquino Constitution is pro-life. And Aquino should have implemented it by abolishing the DOH PAPCOM program in all those monies coming from outside to support what is now called reproductive health. Of course, she did not. The Constitution proclaims this Constitution that we have proclaims the sanctity of human life, the family and marriage, and therefore deprives the present program of DOH, PAPCOM, and all the others of any constitutional basis. As of now, at least 2 billion pesos is appropriated for it in the present General Appropriation Act, not counting all the monies coming from the population, one world founders abroad. So, whose right to contracept and to get sterilized is being denied, curtailed, or violated by the absence of an RH law? Well, no. Because everyone is doing it. But just as we just saw, because never the purpose of the RH bill to give women and men the civil right which they already have. The real purpose of the bill, and this is a very important statement, and not a minute, please listen to this, the real purpose of the bill has always been what is written in the bill now, namely, to give the state a power, a right, and a duty it does not have, namely, to require married couples to practice birth control as a necessary precondition and an essential component of marriage. You don't find this anywhere, not even in the United States of America, as I will explain it. But you will hear them saying, but the bill allows you to choose what methods to use. That's it. That's what they tell you. And they're not exactly telling a lie. Indeed, the bill gives you an illusion of that. But it is only an illusion, nothing more. While the bill mentions natural family planning as an option, the fact is, natural family planning is the exact opposite of contraception and sterilization. It is not another form of contraception or sterilization. But nothing is said about how the government will do planning, how it makes sure that those who need it will get it. You read the bill, there's nothing. In contrast, the bill is a virtual manual on how contraceptives and sterilization agents are to be distributed by clinics and hospitals as essential medicines. So, it is not just that you are given a bogus choice. The greater offense is that while you are given the illusion of choosing what contraceptives to use, the decision that you must use contraceptives in one form or another has already been made for you by the authors of the bill, claiming the right to speak for the state, but speaking in violation of the constitutional duties of the state. That is an abomination, if ever there was one. As I said, even in the United States, Europe, and the other non-communist countries, where abortion is unhappily allowed, the government has simply legalized the practice. Abortion has been legalized in these countries, but it is not prescribed by the government. Legalization is barbaric enough, condemnable enough, but in no case does the government prescribe it or impose it as they did and still do in communist and other totalitarian states. The RHB prescribes birth control on everyone. That's why you cannot get married unless you have a small piece of paper showing that you have gone through a family planning seminar. A very stupid thing becoming a condition sine qua non to something as important as marriage. Now the Philippines is neither a communist nor a totalitarian state. Not yet. Anyway. wants to admit it. A communist and totalitarian practice. No wonder. I hope you realize this. Under the rejectionist and reaffirmist factions of the Communist Party of the Philippines in Congress, this is the CPP, that are split into two factions, reaffirmists and rejectionists. They are one and united in supporting this foreign dictated RX bill, even though they cannot seem to agree on anything else. Ipapatayan yan sa lahat ng issue. Lalo the RX bill. They recognize that in communist states, the state imposes this. Now, what the bill wants to do to our constitutional democratic state and to the institution of marriage is reason enough to ask our pro-RX friends to cease and desist. But there is far more than this. As Catholics, we have as much right as non-Catholics to profess and practice our faith. We do not have to explain to Congress why we believe what we believe. We do not have to say why we believe our faith is the truth. We do not have to prove it to Congress, even though we may have no difficulty doing so. It is sufficient that the state knows we profess and practice a certain faith, and the duty of the state is to respect and protect our profession and practice of our faith, just as we must respect and protect the profession and practice of any and all other faiths. Now, we reject contraception and sterilization as in principle evil, according to the teaching of our faith. But the RX bill wants us to practice contraception and sterilization, and even use our tax money to pay for the program that attacks our women. It is like the victims of despotic repression and persecution in a tyrannical regime being asked to pay for the bullets that would be used to execute them. That's what this bill is trying to do to us. Now, what will it take for the President and for the RX proponents in Congress to see that this is religious persecution, pure and simple, and that we Catholics have a right and even a duty perhaps to resist against such injustice. The word resist is a philosophical term which would mean active resistance. Some RX proponents, including some self-confessed lapsed Catholics, have tried to heckle and sneer at us for mentioning our Catholic faith or the teaching of humanity in rejecting the RX faith. And some of us have politely obliged by putting forward eloquent and forceful arguments without quoting scripture, the popes, or even the encyclical itself. But none of us should ever apologize for our fidelity to the teaching and value of the Church. The RX bill is an attack on the teaching of our Catholic faith. We must vigorously respond to it as true Catholics should. Of course, we cannot ask the atheist, the pagan, the non-Catholic, or even the lapsed Catholic to oppose the bill on the basis of our faith. We cannot ask Congress, and for that reason we are not asking Congress to act as the enforcer of our Catholic faith. But we can ask Congress, and we must ask Congress not to disrespect nor trample upon our Catholic faith. We can tell and we must tell the RX proponents, including His Excellency the President, that this is an anti-Catholic bill and we shall resist it with our lives if necessary as Catholics. Let's somehow try to tell us that we should not impose our Catholic belief on non-Catholics. That is a fair request, fairly put and properly understood. There is no attempt on the part of Catholics to impose their belief on non-Catholics. The exact opposite may be true instead. We are not trying to stop anyone who wants to contracept or get sterilized from contracepting or getting sterilized. If any religious sect, group, or organization believes that contraception is good for the soul or for oneself, our Catholic opposition to the RX bill should not disturb them at all. For even now, they are free to contracept and sterilize themselves. And they can continue doing so even after the RH bill is archived. If and when that happens, as I sincerely pray and believe it should happen, they would still be free to contracept and sterilize themselves. But they are precisely the ones who want to impose their belief or non-belief on us Catholics. They want us to accept from Congress what is contrary to our faith. They ask Catholics to show tolerance for the belief or non-belief, but they show complete non-tolerance for our Catholic faith. And we happen to be a majority rather than a small minority in this country called the Republic of the Philippines. As Catholics, we have a right and a duty to make sure that in this predominantly Catholic country, no anti-Catholic elite should stamp the boot of totalitarianism on our Catholic convictions, our Catholic culture, our Catholic conscience, and on the Filipino family, whatever its faith. We must show the world that if and when the truth calls on us to stand for its defense, we Filipino Catholics shall be there to stand together and march together, whatever the cost or consequence to God, family, and country. God, family, country. Has spoken of God. Has spoken of the family. Let me now talk of country. Where do they? Divided country. For so long we have been divided by all the lies and falsehoods of our politics, and the shameless and unending revision and reinterpretation of our history. The race bill will plunge us into the deepest depths of national infamy. For one, it will mean the total surrender of our national sovereignty. For the RH bill is not of Filipino origin, nor is it meant to strengthen or enrich the culture, character, and consciences of the Filipinos. It is dictated by foreign population controllers, using many of our unfortunate countrymen as proxies and gospels. Many reputedly nationalist politicians are so happy to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the Senate's rejection of the treaty that will extend the U.S. bases in the Philippines for another 10 years after 1992 as a triumph of Philippine sovereignty. There's a big celebration in Manila, September 16. A few others struck nationalist poses by questioning America's suspicious role in the IMF question in Mindanao as an infringement of Philippine sovereignty. But far too many of the same people do not mind calling on the benighted followers to march behind this foreign dictated RH bill, which seeks to impose a new colonial regime upon the Philippines by taking hold not necessarily of our lands, but of the minds and souls of our people. This is the second colonization of the Philippines. If it succeeds, they're not going to grab our lands, that's just going to own our minds and our souls. I ask this Congress to pray that these friends of ours be converted back to true Filipino patriotism, eager to uphold the rights of our family. And I finally ask you to pray that all our pro-rights friends in Congress and in the presidency who are sworn to preserve and defend our Constitution and our country learn to treat that Constitution with greater respect and fidelity. Congress can pass no law in violation of the Constitution, and the President can sign no bill into law, nor allow any law, any bill to absent the law that is in violation of the Constitution. And this RH bill is patently in violation of the Constitution. This is not the first, or the second, or the third, the fourth time that I will say this, or I have said this. And I apologize to those who may feel that I am overstating this and over-repeating myself. But the RH bill violates Section 11 to 16 of Article 2 and the whole of Article 15 of the Constitution. We could go over them one by one, but I shall simply focus on one core provision, and I invite you to listen. Section 12 of Article 2. This provides the state recognizes the sanctity of family life and shall protect and strengthen the family as a basic autonomous social institution. It shall equally protect the life of the mother and the life of the unborn from conception, the natural and primary right and duty of parents in the rearing of the youth for civic efficiency and the development of moral character shall receive the support of the government. That is the core of the pro-life and pro-family policy of this government under the Constitution. Let us pay close attention to the second sentence of the paragraph, which says, it, meaning the state, shall equally protect the life of the mother and the life of the unborn and conception. That sentence has several parts, but each part is clear. And one part says, the state shall be the protector of conception. Shall protect the life of the unborn from conception. So the state is the protector of the life unborn, said that is the protector of conception. So I ask, if the state is the protector of conception, can it be simultaneously the preventer or the destroyer of conception? I should like to hear the Congress, this Congress, answer this. Is it possible that the protector of conception is also the preventer of conception? Is that possible? No. And why not? Because one is diametrically opposed to the other. A thing cannot be and not be at the same time. That is the first lesson we learn in philosophy. We call it the first principle of speculative reason, the principle of non-contradiction. So, the debate should end there. Black cannot be white, and vice versa. The debate ends there. It can go no further. On the basis of that single line in the Constitution, the entire RH bill falls apart as it must. And with it falls the long ongoing RH program of DOH, PAPCOM, and local governments. The long lacrimose reading of the pro-RH ban must end here and now. It's the end of the night. But assuming, Arvando, that everything they have said about poverty, about ecology, about maternal health is correct, and everything they have said to refute what they have said is wrong, the final question has been asked. Can Congress approve the RH bill? And can the President sign it into law or let it lapse into law under this Constitution? And the Constitution answers no. It violates the core provision. So the game is over. But, and there is one final part. What about the fact that the Constitution does not say when conception takes place and when life begins? The anti-RH group says conception occurs upon fertilization of the ovum, while the pro-RH group says upon implantation. This question is obviously intended to be cloud the issue, and it appears to have succeeded to some extent. But we need not be confused. Let us not be confused. The answer to when does life begin has nothing whatsoever to do with the constitutional issue at hand. The simple constitutional issue here is whether or not the state as protector of conception can also be the preventer of conception. Can the state also be primary provider of contraceptives and sterilization agents whose purpose is to prevent women, even one solitary woman, from conceiving? If you were a congressman or a senator or the president, and you say yes to this question, yes, it is possible, then you are saying that black is white, that false is true, and that there is no difference between the two. That is the death of reason and of all human civilization. The answer to when does life begin may be material when discussing abortion. Since a baby is aborted upon or after conception, the pro-abortion lobby thinks they have something to gain by insisting that conception takes place upon implantation. In so doing, they could claim that no abortion had taken place if the fetus were killed before implantation. However, the most determined pro-abortion advocates have not been deterred by such distinctions. Some UN bureaucrats, human rights lawyers, judges, and others claim even that there is an international human right abortion, even though no international treaty supports that claim. The assertion has spread to a great number of people around the world, and they have the power to change abortion laws. The state of Colombia changed its abortion laws based on that false claim. Now, to end that mendacious claim, a group of 32 law professors, philosophers, parliamentarians, ambassadors, human rights lawyers, delegates to the General Assembly, and leaders of the pro-life movement met in San Jose, Costa Rica on the 3rd week of March this year to draft a series of 9 articles for international consumption. These are called the San Jose Articles, and they are now part of the patrimony of the international pro-life movement. I was invited to participate in the drafting of that document, but because of the marriage in my family last March, I had to participate in the collegial work in San Jose from Manila online by internet. I am thus one of the 32 signatories whose names I shall read to you later. Since March, these articles have been launched at the United Nations headquarters in Europe, at the British Parliament in London, at the European Parliament in Strasbourg, the World Pro-Life Congress in San Jose, Costa Rica, and in Madrid, Spain. It belongs in other cities around the world. With your permission, Mr. Chairman, members of this Congress, I should like to read these articles and the signatories into the record for the appreciation of this Congress. I now read this document. The San Jose Articles. Article 1. As a matter of scientific fact, a new human life begins at conception. Article 2. Its human life is a continuum that begins at conception and advances in stages until death. Science gives different names to these stages, including zygote, blastocyst, embryo, fetus, infant, child, adolescent, and adult. This does not change the scientific consensus that at all points of development, each individual is a living member of the human species. Article 3. Article 3. From conception, each unborn child is by nature a human being. Article 4. All human beings, as members of the human family, are entitled to recognition of their inherent dignity and to protection of their inalienable human rights. the International Covenant. This is recognized in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, and other international instruments. Article 5. There exists no right of abortion under international law, either by way of treaty obligation or under customary international law. No United Nations treaty can accurately be cited as establishing or recognizing a right of abortion. You hear that from many people, even in the course of the Alliance debates. Some congressmen, some authors, sponsors of that to say there is an international right to reproductive health. Reproductive health, according to Hillary Clinton, who is in Manila today, says includes access to abortion. Article 6. The Committee on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, or CEDAW, and other treaty monitoring bodies have directed governments to change the law on abortion. These bodies have explicitly or implicitly interpreted the treaties to which they are subject as including a right to abortion. Treaty monitoring bodies have no authority, either under the treaties that created them or under the character these treaties in ways that create new state obligations or that alter the substance of these treaties. Accordingly, any such body that interprets a treaty to include a right to abortion acts beyond its authority and contrary to its mandate. Such ultra vires acts do not create any legal obligation for state parties to the treaty, nor should states accept them as contributing to the formation of new customary law. Article 7. Assertions by international agencies or non-governmental actors that abortion is a human right are false and should be rejected. There is no international legal obligation to provide access to abortion based on any ground, including but not limited to health, privacy, or sexual autonomy, or non-discrimination. Article 8. Under basic principles of treaty interpretation in international law, consistent with the obligations of good faith and pacta sunt servanda, and in the exercise of the responsibility to defend the lives of the people, states may and should invoke treaty provisions guaranteeing the right to life as encompassing a state responsibility to protect the unborn from abortion. Article 9. Governments and members of society should ensure that national laws and policies protect the human right to life from conception. They should also reject and condemn pressure to adopt laws that legalize or depenalize abortion. Treaty monitoring bodies, United Nations agencies and officers, regional and national courts, and others should desist from implicit or explicit assertions of a right to abortion based on international law. When such false assertions are made or pressure is exerted, member states should demand accountability from the United Nations system. Providers of development should not promote or fund abortions. They should not make aid conditional on the recipient's acceptance of it. The national maternal and child care funding and programs should ensure a healthy outcome of pregnancy for both mother and child, and to help mothers welcome new life in all circumstances. The original drafters and signatories of these articles are the following: Lord Alton, of the House of Lords, United Kingdom of Great Britain; Carl Anderson, Supreme Knight, Knights of Columbus; Vicente Villagiano, Professor of Gynecology, Perinatology and Childcare from Università La Sapienza, Rome, former Secretary General, International Federation of Gynecology and Obstetrics, or FIGO. Honorable Javier Borrego, former Judge, European Court of Human Rights. Christine Mouton, former Cabinet Member, France. She's the current President of the Christian Democratic Party in France. Benjamin Bull, Chief Counsel of Alliance Defense Fund. Honorable Martha de Castro, a Member of Parliament of Honduras. Honorable Tom Coburn, MD, Member of the United States Senate. Jacob Ramirez, Human Rights Lawyer. Professor John Fees, one of the greatest brains of our time. Oxford University, Notre Dame University. Professor Robert George, an equally eminent scholar. McCormick Professor of Jurisprudence, Princeton University, former member of the President's Council on Value Ethics. Professor John Alden, Professor of Philosophy, University of St. Andrews. Patrick Kelly, Vice President for Public Policy, Knights of Columbus. Professor Elliot Koch, Catholic Medicine, University of Chile. Professor Santiago Gar, Professor of Law, Pontificia, Universidad Católica Argentina. Leonardo Leo, former delegate, Human Rights Commission. Yuri Mantilla, Director of International Government Affairs, Focus on the Family. Honorable Elizabeth Montfort, former member, European Parliament. Cristobal Orrego, Professor of Jurisprudence, University of Andes, Chile. Gregor Popin, Executive Director, European Center for Law and Justice. Ambassador Grover Joseph Rees, former U.S. Ambassador, East Timor Special U.S. Representative to the UN Social Issues. Austin Roos, President CFAM. William Saunders, Human Rights Lawyer, Senior Vice President, American United for Life, former delegate to the UN General Assembly. Alan Sears, President, CEO, General Counsel, Alliance Defense Fund. Murray Smith, President, Parliamentary Network for Critical Issues. Professor Carl Sneed, Member, International Bioethics Committee, UNESCO, and former U.S. Permanent Secretary Council of Europe Steering Committee for Bioethics, University of Notre Dame School of Law. Douglas Silva, Delegate to the UN General Assembly. Pete Tatad, former Majority Leader of the Philippine Senate. Honorable Luca Volonte, Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe, President of the European People's Party, or PASEC. Lord Nicholas Windsor, Member of the Royal Council of the United Kingdom. Susan Yoshihara, President, Director of International Organizations Research Group. and as a Rosca member, European Parliament, former Chair, Women's Committee of the European Parliament. The Chairman, distinguished defenders of human life, the family and others. May I now seek your consent to allow me to communicate the custodians of these articles in San Jose, New York, and Washington, D.C., and to the rest of the Christian world, that today, 16th of November 2011, we have at this National Philippines for Life Congress in Cebu City formally launched the San Jose Outcome.